I remember being down in, after Katrina, we were in the Gulf in Mississippi, and we were on these property where all these houses were wiped out. And we were in this one place, and this lady's house was just a slate of cement with some rubbish and stuff. It had been completely knocked down. And she came back, and she was about 80 years old, and she was still in her nightgown, and saw it for the first time. She was just like, and we asked her, what are you looking for? She goes, well, I just want to find a picture, maybe in a scrapbook, so my grandchildren say I don't live here, but that will help me. And then I was sitting there talking to her, and I was like, what are you feeling right now? She goes, I just, can you tell me where to put my right foot if I take a step?
Yeah.
I just need, is it solid? Is it going to cave? Am I going to trip? Can you just tell me? I don't even want to look right now. Can I trust you to tell me that if I step this way, one step, my foot will be solid and flat, and I won't slip, and it won't be dangerous. I won't step on a piece of glass. It's not going to, and that's just wanted one step. That's a person in misery going, just show me one solid step. I don't want to know what's going on. No, I don't, not what's happening in an hour, not what's happening in 30 minutes. Just give me one solid step. That seems to be a place to start for someone in misery. It doesn't have the ability to project, or is so confused, and you feel it's got too much coming down on you, too much pain to think down the line. And then if you do that once, then you reset and you bring up the same question. All right, what's the next one step? Mm-hmm. If it one in a row, over and over, instead of, I'm going to put a string together. No, do one in a row over and over, and look at them and go, look at that.
Yeah.
10 in a row. We got somewhere.
Yeah.
But that's easier said than done. So what then would you say is the balance between keeping the big picture in mind, but taking one step at a time? The urge, the will, the incentive, the being to go, no, I'm chasing my transcendent self. I'm trying to be more godlike, whatever that is, which is a big, I'm trying, living as if I want to get to heaven or whatever. I want to act in a way that I have good karma. Those are big ideas. So how do you, what's in your mind, what's the dance between that and yes, but put your head down, one step at a time. Explore those two extremes where we don't get it.
Yeah.
One are the fatalists. Wait a minute, we got to have our hands on the wheel.
Yes.
You know what I mean? We have our freedom of choice, and so where is it that we go, rely on fate too much, and where is it we're like, no, I am fully responsible for everything. The next step is all that matters. Head down. You don't see any horizon. The two extremes when it feels like they can be out of balance, but that paradox in the middle is what so many of us are seeking and pursue and try to live at. But what are practical ways to keep that in the middle, where we're feeling both the same? That old Southern adage, the old man and the boy walking, here comes the tornado, and the boy drops on his knees to pray, and says, get your butt up, boy, scared prayer ain't worth a damn right now. We got to go get shelter.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then other times, and I've had my Nietzschean agnostic years where I was like, it's all me.
Yes.
It is all about my hands on the damn wheel. Now, I don't regret those. And as a believer, I didn't feel spiritually God was mad at me for that. I thought he had a wry smile on his face when he was like, way to get your hands on the wheel. I could use some more of that from some more of y'all. But at the same time, you thought you had it. I thought it was all up to you, huh?
Yeah.
But I appreciate the effort.
But
it was. I remember the feeling of appreciation, and I needed it at the time because I was giving myself too much.
Yes.
Amnesty in places, and I was getting, my chassis was a little loose on the edges, and I was like, look, you gotta look in the mirror, McConaughey, grab the damn wheel, man. You quit just letting it all slide on fate.
Let me say something that might surprise you. When people tell me they are overwhelmed, I almost never think they have too many problems. I think they have too many open loops, too many tabs in their mind, too many half decisions, half-started tasks, half-processed emotions, half-made plans. Overwhelm is what happens when your attention gets scattered and your nervous system tries to carry everything at once. That is why Matthew's story is so powerful. That woman is not asking for a plan. She is not asking for a timeline. She is not asking for hope. She is asking for footing. Where do I put my right foot? Is it solid? Will it cave? Will I slip? That is the most honest question a human can ask when they feel unsafe. And if you are overwhelmed, your situation might not look like rubble and broken concrete, but your mind feels the same. You do not trust the ground. You do not trust your next move. You do not trust that you can take a step without something going wrong. Here is the mistake most people make when they feel overwhelmed. They try to zoom out. They try to solve the whole life problem, the whole relationship problem, the whole money problem, the whole health problem. They try to create certainty before they move. But certainty does not come before movement. Clarity often comes after movement. When you take one step, you create information. You learn what works. You learn what is stable. You learn what is not. That is how you build trust. So the core idea of this video is simple. Overwhelm is not a signal that you need a perfect plan. Overwhelm is a signal that you need to narrow your focus to one step you can trust. Your job is to reduce the scope until you can move. Then you move. Then you reset and ask again. This also changes your self-talk. Instead of saying, "I am overwhelmed," like it is a personality, you say, "I am overloaded and unclear on the next step." That phrasing matters because it points to a solution. If you are unclear, you can get clear. If you are overloaded, you can reduce load. If you make it an identity, you stay stuck. Now here is what we will do next. We will identify what kind of overwhelm you are dealing with, because not all overwhelm is the same. Sometimes it is pain. Sometimes it is uncertainty. Sometimes it is too many choices. Once you know the type, you know what kind of one step to take. Then I will show you a one-step method that turns chaos into action in under 2 minutes. And we will close with a 3-step follow-through plan that you can use today to get a win, even if your life feels messy. Overwhelm lies to you. It tells you that because you cannot fix everything, you should do nothing. The truth is that one step changes the system. One step gives you agency. And agency is the first ingredient of calm. Overwhelm usually comes from 3 forces that stack together: pain, uncertainty, and too many choices. If you can name which one is strongest, you can choose the right next step instead of guessing. First is pain. Pain can be emotional or physical. It can be stress, anxiety, grief, burnout, conflict, fatigue. Pain narrows your brain. It reduces your capacity to plan and prioritize. That is why when you are exhausted, everything feels harder. The same task you could do easily last week now feels impossible. It is not because the task changed. It is because your system is under load. When pain is high, your brain defaults to survival mode, and survival mode does not plan well. It reacts. Second is uncertainty. Uncertainty is the brain not knowing what will happen next. When uncertainty is high, the mind tries to predict the future to feel safe. It runs scenarios. What if this fails? What if they leave? What if I cannot pay for this? What if I mess up? The problem is that prediction never ends. You can always imagine another risk, another problem, another angle you did not consider. That is why uncertainty creates mental spinning, and spinning creates fatigue. Third is too many choices. This is the modern problem. You have too many tasks, too many commitments, too many messages, too many options. When everything is urgent, nothing is clear. So you bounce. You start one thing, then switch again. You end the day tired but not satisfied because you did motion without progress. And when you do that long enough, you stop trusting yourself to finish anything. Now here is what makes it worse. When people feel overwhelmed, they often use planning as a comfort behavior. They make lists, reorganize apps, watch productivity videos, or redesign their routine. Planning can be useful, but planning can also become procrastination dressed as preparation. It feels safe because it avoids the risk of doing the thing. It gives the illusion of control without the discomfort of action. So you feel busy, but you do not feel better. So do this quick check. Which one is driving you most right now? Pain, uncertainty, or too many choices? If pain is highest, your next step should reduce pain or stabilize your body. That might mean sleep, a walk, hydration, food, or asking for support. Even 5 minutes of movement or a glass of water can shift your state enough to think again. If uncertainty is highest, your next step should reduce unknowns. That might mean one phone call, one question asked, one decision made, one boundary set. One piece of certainty is enough to make the ground feel more solid. If too many choices is highest, your next step should narrow. Choose one priority and pause the rest for now. You are not abandoning everything. You are creating a lane so you can move. This triangle is important because it prevents you from taking the wrong medicine. The right step matches the problem. In the next part, we turn this into the one-step method you can use today. Here is the one-step method. It is designed for moments when your mind is noisy and you cannot think clearly. It gives you structure when you do not have it. Step 1 is choose one zone. What area is overwhelming you most right now? Work, money, health, relationships, home, or your mind? Pick one. If you pick 3, you will stay overwhelmed. Your brain needs a lane. Think of it like trying to drive while staring at every street at once. You pick one road. Step 2 is define a 10% win, not a full solution, a 10% improvement. Ask what would make me feel 10% safer or clearer in this zone. 10% is small enough to be realistic, but meaningful enough to matter. 10% is the difference between freezing and moving. Step 3 is pick a physical step you can do in 10 minutes. Physical means it is visible and specific. Something you can begin immediately. Not think about it, not research it. Do it. If your step is vague, your brain will negotiate. If your step is physical, your brain can start. Here are examples. Work overwhelm. 10% win might be clarity on the top task. The physical step is to write one sentence. The next task that matters most is blank. Then open the file and work for 10 minutes. No multitasking. Money overwhelm. 10% win might be knowing what is due. The physical step is to open your bank app, list the bills, and pick one bill to handle today. One phone call or one payment plan message is a step. Health overwhelm. 10% win might be energy. The physical step is to drink water, walk for 10 minutes, or prep one simple meal. Not a perfect plan, a stabilizing move. Relationship overwhelm. 10% win might be honesty. The physical step is to write down what you need to say, then send a message to schedule a talk. You do not have to solve the relationship today. You have to start the conversation. Mental overwhelm. 10% win might be fewer open loops. The physical step is a brain dump. Write everything on paper for 5 minutes, then circle the one thing you can handle today. That single circle becomes your lane. Step 4 is remove one hazard. In Matthew's story, the hazard is glass and unstable ground. Your hazard is distraction or chaos. Put your phone away. Close extra tabs. Clear one space. Tell someone you need 10 minutes. Make the step safer. Step 5 is do the step and reset. After the step, you ask again, what is the next one step? That is the secret. You are not making a giant string. You are taking one in a row over and over. After 10 in a row, you got somewhere. In the next part, we address the balance between faith and responsibility because overwhelm pushes people into extremes. The middle is where calm and progress live. When you are overwhelmed, you often bounce between two extremes. One extreme is giving up. You call it fate. You say it is out of my hands. You stop trying. That can feel soothing in the moment because it removes responsibility, but it also removes agency, and without agency, you stay stuck. The world stays loud, but you feel smaller inside it. The other extreme is trying to control everything. You tell yourself, it is all on me. I must fix every problem now. I must carry everything. That creates pressure, and pressure makes the nervous system panic. You grip the wheel too hard and burn out, and then you swing back to giving up. That back and forth is exhausting. Matthew gives you a better approach. Sometimes you pray, sometimes you move. Sometimes acceptance is the right move. Sometimes action is the right move. The middle path is this: accept what is not in your control today and act on what is in your control today. Here is a practical way to do that. Make 2 columns, not in your head, on paper. Column 1, not in my control today. Other people's reactions. The past, the exact timeline. The fact that everything feels heavy. Column 2, in my control today. 1 step, 1 call, 1 message, 1 10-minute block, 1 boundary, 1 meal, 1 walk. This is grabbing the wheel. Not trying to steer the whole highway at once, but putting your hands on the wheel for the next 10 minutes. You do not need to feel brave. You need to move while you feel unsure. This is also where humility comes in. Overwhelm makes you want certainty, but certainty is not required. Movement is required. You can take a step without knowing the whole road. You can get shelter first, then think later. You can act while you are still scared. So when you feel overwhelmed, do not ask, how do I fix my whole life? Ask, what is one responsibility I can take right now? One step that makes the ground more solid. That step is your proof. Proof creates calm. Calm creates better decisions. Now we finish with 3 follow-through steps you can do today. They are simple, repeatable, and they turn this video into action. Step 1. Pick one zone and write your next step. Choose the one zone that is overwhelming you most. Then write 1 sentence. My next solid step is blank. Make it something you can do in 10 minutes. This single sentence narrows the storm into 1 action. If you cannot pick a step, pick a smaller step until you can. Step 2, set a timer and take the step now. Set a 10-minute timer and start. Do not optimize. Do not negotiate. Move. The goal is not to solve everything. The goal is to create agency. When the timer ends, you can stop or continue. Either way, you have proof you can move, and that proof matters more than you think. Step 3, repeat the reset and aim for 10 steps. After the timer, ask the question again. What is the next 1 step? Then do it later today or tomorrow. Your aim is 10 small steps in a row. 10 steps rebuild momentum. 10 steps rebuild trust. 10 steps get you somewhere. And if you miss a day, do not spiral. Reset. 1 step again. If you are overwhelmed, you do not need a perfect plan tonight. You need 1 solid step you can trust. Choose the zone. Define the 10% win. Take the 10-minute step. Reset. Repeat. That is where to start.